Hi everybody, hope you're well. So a subject that I've covered a few times here in the caravan is the subject of Wi-Fi. This may be of relevance to you, it may have absolutely no consequence to you whatsoever, but when we started caravanning right at the beginning, Wi-Fi and internet access was exactly at the bottom of the requirements list for when we went away. But as time has progressed, life has changed and technology has followed us in pursuit of perfection. Our caravanning habits have changed quite quickly. Certainly the way we watch TV, the radio we listen to and podcasts we subscribe to, keeping up to date with friends and even answering the doorbell at home all require a decent connection. As we now transition between going away with the family and going away by ourselves without the children, keeping in contact with the kids at home is now quite an important role for us in the caravan. Now currently I have a Netgear Wi-Fi, this one in fact, and it's been okay. It's worked really well with us. And I was looking to see how I could improve this, and lots of people are saying just add an external antenna and it will work really well. But when I was researching the Avtex system, it wasn't so much the external antenna that got my attention, it was the functionality and some of the features of the onboard router. And that has made me decide to invest in a brand new Avtex AMR985 system, have it installed in the caravan and see how we get on with it. So maybe you're asking yourself, what exactly does this router do that this very expensive Netgear can't do? First of all, it's got 2 SIM slots. That means that I can put our Sky Mobile SIM in one slot and put a pay-as-you-go SIM in another slot on a completely different network, for example 3 or Vodafone or EE. And the box is that clever, it will work out which has got the strongest signal and switch between those 2 SIMs. Another benefit, which may not be of appeal to you, but certainly is attractive to me, is the fact that I can put an open VPN connection on the router itself, which means that we can watch programs that are not available here in the UK on systems like Netflix or Disney Plus. So I can be sat here in the caravan in a field in Shropshire watching shows from Netflix US, stuff on Disney Plus in Canada and Crunchyroll in Japan, for example. But also that may be appeal to you because if you're away in, say, Spain or France or somewhere else and you want to catch up with what's going on down the Queen Vic, well, you can change your location and you can dial on to iPlayer, which is not available outside of the UK. So that's enough reasons for me to have it installed in the caravan. Now, in terms of installing it, well, it's actually quite an easy job to do. And you will see it popping up on new caravans and motorhomes as they come off the factory floor. But what if, like me, you've got a caravan which isn't brand new, but isn't old by any stretch of the imagination, and still has a warranty on water ingress in the roof? Well, for situations like that, you're going to really need to ask your supplying dealership or an approved AWS engineer to install it for you, so you can still maintain any warranty on any water ingress in your roof. Of course, if you don't have a warranty, don't worry, this system can be installed by any competent DIYer. If you're happy putting a hole in your roof and you're happy running a cable through for power, you can absolutely do this yourself. In fact, the kit has got everything inside to enable you to do that. So I actually had the system installed a few days ago, but before I did, I took everything back to the studio, I took everything out of the box because typically I'm like a kid with a new toy, and I documented everything that you get in the box and also had a closer look at some of the key components. In the box we have the router, the 5G compatible antenna, a selection of mounting hardware, a 230 volt AC power adapter, a 12 volt DC power adapter, 2 Wi-Fi antennas, an Ethernet cable, and a SIM needle that is stored securely on the router. There's also lots of documentation on how to install, configure and set up the system, and also included is a SIM to get us up and running. Let's have a closer look at the router. This router is unlocked to accept any SIM from any provider, which is handy as I'll be using a Sky Mobile SIM, and I've installed this in the SIM1 slot. As you can see, we have 2 SIM slots on the top along with dual Wi-Fi antenna sockets for maximum coverage, 2 external antenna connections, a reset switch, and as I mentioned, a handy place to stow the SIM needle. The 2 Wi-Fi antennas connect to the 2 inner sockets, while the SMA connectors for the external antenna connect to the outside pair. On the bottom of the router we can see we have 4 Ethernet connections. One is reserved for wide area network, while the others are for local area network connections. We also have the power socket, a power LED, and to the right a multicoloured activity LED and mobile network strength signal indicator. Looking at the supplied antenna, you can see it has a large self-adhesive pad on the base for secure bonding to the roof, but the antenna also comes with mounting hardware for secure mechanical installation too. I mentioned that the antenna has a selection of mounting options depending on the installation. Simply adding extension tubes to the base of the antenna allows this to be added to a wide variety of locations on caravans, motorhomes, or even boats. On this occasion, the longest extension tube will be needed for my caravan roof. So that's everything that's in the box. Let's rewind ourselves a few days ago when this caravan was in for its annual service, and I also asked them to install the Wi-Fi as well. I asked if I was okay to film, they said yes. Louis undertook the installation, so without further ado, let's make a start. The very first task is to find a suitable location to install the antenna. This ideally should be away from the TV antenna and in a relatively clear space. So on the surface of my roof, the best place is in the front right corner of the caravan. Inside, the survey continues, finding a suitable location for the router and feeding the 12-volt power, the antenna coax, all in a non-intrusive manner. In my example, the power will be fed from the 12-volt accessory circuit, which is handy as this will be switched on and off from the master switch, but the cable will need to be routed past the furnace and up into the overhead lockers. The router is going to be affixed in the front locker next to the antenna. Once suitable locations are found for all the components, all the parts are pre-assembled ready for the install. The Wi-Fi antennas are attached to the router and the extension tube is installed on the antenna. So now the more delicate job of measuring up ready for the installation can continue. The location of the pilot hole is key for a good installation of the antenna, and using the locking rings as a guide, the location is marked ready for drilling. On the roof, the surface is cleaned and degreased, and I must confess the roof is a bit mucky, and if there wasn't a hosepipe ban I would have cleaned the roof before installation. Honest. With everything marked, cleaned and prepared, the pilot hole is drilled from the inside to the outside. Louis cleaned around the area again to remove any debris that was created when the pilot hole was drilled. Now with a 25mm hole cutter, a small section is drilled from the inside to reduce any damage of the internal roof skin. The rest of the hole, however, will be drilled from the outside. Now the hole is complete, the surface is cleaned again, removing any debris, and the antenna is test fitted into its new home, making sure it fits correctly. As previously mentioned, the antenna comes with an adhesive pad, which can be stuck straight on, but further belt and braces approach is to add some sealant around the hole and around the perimeter of the antenna base. This will make a watertight installation that my dealership are happy to apply warranty to in case of any water ingress. The antenna is firmly placed into position. The orientation isn't critical, but it is aligned with the caravan front to back for a neat look. Inside, the securing washer, self-gripping spring washer and nut are tightened, creating a secure mechanical fitting, which completes the antenna installation. Now before the router is installed, the power lines are run through the caravan. Using the accessory circuit, the 12-volt feed is located just behind the furnace. New cables are spliced into this circuit and run straight up behind the heating control panel and up into the locker space, and along towards where the router will live. The supplied 12-volt adapter cable is being used for this connection to the router, so the 12-volt plug is removed and the cables are joined to provide the required connection to the router. The cable is neatly secured and we're ready for the router install. The Wi-Fi antennas are already connected, making sure that the final location of the router will be correct. Then the router is secured to the locker with 4 self-tapping screws, and the external antenna connections are firmly screwed into position, and finally the power lead is plugged in, and we're ready for the first test. Now as you would have seen, I previously installed the SIM card into the router back at the studio, so with the caravan switched on at the master switch, the router boots up and is immediately available. Connecting to the router is very straightforward. The Wi-Fi ID and password are documented on the front of the router, along with a very useful QR code that can assist you getting connected. And before you ask, yes, I did rename the SSID and I have changed the default password. I asked Louis to quickly test the connection, and considering the caravan is inside a metal workshop, the speed was very good. I've put on screen the speed results now, and you can see that this is really quite acceptable. The final task is just a case of tidying up, removing the mess from the holes and securing any loose cables, and I think you'll agree, this is a great installation. Right, and there we go, quite a simple installation, and I think you'll agree it looks quite neat as well, doesn't it? It didn't take as long as I thought it was going to, even though I did slow them down filming the entire process, but it went remarkably quickly. I've been fiddling around with it here in storage, and if you consider I'm in the middle of nowhere, in rural Wiltshire, nowhere near any main road or civilization, the speeds I'm getting are quite staggering actually. It's been very, very stable. I've been getting anywhere between 10 and 14 meg download, which is really good actually for around this area. That's with the Sky mobile SIM. I haven't tried it with an eSIM as yet, but I'm going to be doing that in the next couple of days. The cost of this bit of kit was £350, which when you consider it, that whole kit, the antenna, the router, all the mounting hardware and everything else that comes in the box, that was exactly the same price as the Netgear, just the Netgear. It just goes to show that technology does progress, and I have no doubt in my mind that this will not be the final video on Wi-Fi installation here in the caravan, because like I said, our needs change over the years, and being able to do things whilst you're away is now more and more crucial. I mentioned the doorbell, that's now probably the biggest thing that we need access to. And in fact, I know we were not alone with that, because when we were away in August, it was surprising how many people had Ring doorbell notifications going off up and down the campsite. So I know we're not alone in that respect. You can buy this kit from Prima Leisure. You can get it from the Caravan Motorhome Club as well. You can get a discount on that if you're a member, but you can also get it from Amazon as well. And I've put a link to that down below. If you're interested, go and check it out. It's an affiliate link, by the way. It doesn't cost you any extra, but it certainly does help our channel if you click through on that and have a closer look. So thank you if you are interested. But I think that's it from me today. I want to cover off a few other videos on this kit as well, because like I said, there's very few videos about this online at the moment, and I think an owner's perspective on how I'm getting on with this kit and any shortfalls and any issues that I'm encountering and how to resolve those problems, I think that'll be quite useful. So if you are an owner, or if you're interested and you have any questions about it, hit me up down in the comments below, and maybe we can do a Q&A video on it specifically in the near future. So I hope this video has been useful for at least some of you. I know it won't be for everybody's taking, but I hope that some of you will be interested. And I really do hope that this video shows that you can have this installed into anything. You can have it installed into a caravan, a motorhome, a boat, and it doesn't matter of the age. There's plenty of options there on how to mount it on a caravan of any age. If you're interested though, do contact your local dealership or an AWS approved technician, and I'm sure they'll be happy to install it for you, maybe even get it for a better price. So that's it from me today. Please do hit the subscribe button, hit the notification icon, and if you can do all of that, I'll see you in the very next video. Many thanks for watching everybody. Take care. Bye bye.